So this video is actually about the physical vessel, your beautiful divine physical being that has carried you everywhere in this lifetime, has put up with our shit, gone through the physical purges, still going through it, by the way. But it's like now we really are upgrading. I mean, the pain that people are going through in the physical upgrades of recent times, meaning the last month, on another level. I know that my tune-up has been my ears. That's been the big point of focus. I have never, and this is not Marie being dramatic or drama, even though I can be a little bit like that, but my left ear, right, basically all that last year, I got blown out with my right ear when I was in the Great Pyramid last year. It was like, it came through like a freight train. And then I spent the rest of the year integrating that energy from the temples and the pyramid and just like getting this ear tuned up. And it was very painful. I thought that was pretty bad. This left ear has just been blown out and I have never felt pain like it. Like, I don't even know what it was. It was excruciating. And I honestly thought I had to go to hospital. I was like saying to my kids, I gotta go to A&E. This ear, I was so sore. If you walked past my energy field, that was enough to hurt it. I'll be wailing. That was on another level. I would rather push out two more, another two babies than go through that again. And that's truth talk, man. Now, I know a lot of you are laid up in bed with spine issues or slipped a disc. There's some heavy shit going on. Now, two things going on here. We're purging for the collective. That's a given. Didn't know I signed up for that, but that's a given. But the big thing for me that I want to share with you is that physical thing you're going through, even if it's just sickness and it's not so much a body part as such like an elbow or a knee, just the whole physical pain thing, it will be very, very directly related to what you got going on in your blueprint. And this is basically the final tune-up between you and your superpowers and what you've come here to do. So for me, my ears were being cleaned out because I've now connected with a very, very powerful collective, which have been with me for a long time. It's part of my lineage. And they woke me up in my dreams. And then 2 weeks later, I had this ear thing. And then, of course, now when it cleared up, I was able to hear them. And now they're giving me all the coordinates for how to build the pyramids, ancient wisdom kind of vibes for modern day living. And that's what I'm all about. You all know I'm into construction, building communities, building new earth businesses and creations and working with the conscious creators. It's all about that. So now I've been plugged in massively to the Shemsu Hor, which I'll be talking a lot about because their frequency is very, very powerful. They're the ancient demigods, even before Egypt kind of like got popping, actually. They've come through and they've started to really communicate now. So my point of just sharing that with you is that is so aligned with what I've come here to do. And what's happened is this massive purge physical. Then these beings came through and I communicated with them. Then as that happened, it threaded my whole understanding of what my mission and purpose is all about. All my work, the Heka Codes, the tablets of light talk, all of the above, they threaded it through. So now I'm like crystal clear on what I'm doing. I have a direct telephone. I'm ready to go. And that's what I'm saying. So that in a nutshell is kind of what's happening for you, going to happen to you. If it hasn't happened yet, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? So now I want to talk a bit more about the physical body. Now, I want to talk a bit about how do you eat? It's such a fallacy. I mean, I've stopped saying to people, oh, you only have to eat, you're only allowed to eat vegetarian food on my tablets of light tour now or any groups, because that for me is actually a bit of, it's old stuff, man, because I know a million vegetarians or vegans that have now started eating meat. I know a million eat eaters that have now become vegan. I know loads of people that are eating this, doing that, whatever. And at the end of the day, our physical bodies holds its own healing intelligence. It knows what to do. So I want to talk about intermittent fasting. Now, this is something I've just naturally moved into and I'm just happiest on it. So many people will argue it and say it's really bad for you. And quite honestly, labels. Do what's good for you, boo. That's essentially the message of this video, is listening to that. But I want to talk about the importance about intermittent fasting. So when I was sitting in with my counsel and my higher self, and we were having a fat chat about how should we be eating, they said that intermittent fasting is extremely important in this now timeline, because back in the day before consciousness fell, we used to feed ourselves through our prana tube. We used to feed through light from here all the way through our central power channel, as above so below, all the way through. It was only when we fell from consciousness that we started to eat food here. And now, of course, the biggest offender is basically addictions to food, reliance to food. We were told we were supposed to have 3 meals a day. You must always wake up and have breakfast, but we're all built differently. I mean, God, all we do is constantly eat, and our system is constantly digesting food, which means the energy of that can't go and do other things. So there's a lot of mental programming with our relationship to food and how we should be eating. The best way to be light is to actually just give the system a rest and actually really give yourself a chance to see whether you do need all that food in a day. Not starve yourself. I'm not talking about starving yourself. I'm talking about feeling and having a deep connection in your being as to what's going on in it and when you're going through a fast. Now, I know my friend out there, Ma, who I actually posted on, she's massive on water fasting and she does it intermittently all the time. I just like fasting. And, and I just think, and I know loads of people out there are doing it as well, but I do believe it has a bigger consciousness. And this is what my team, what my Golden Council of Light board meeting was telling me. And they said, what it does when you fast is it cuts off all addiction. It just cuts it off at the quick. And then you start to allow your energy of your body's intelligence to come in and show you what's going on. So you'll start to feel like, okay, I'm a little bit empty. It doesn't bother me too much. Then you go into this second stage. And then you start to feel a little bit of hunger pains. And then you go into this third stage and you can actually feel loads of bubbles going up and down your digestive system. And what's actually happening is it's going into ketosis. Now it's burning fat. Now the cells are regenerating. And when you get to the final, this is my big thing, when you get to the final stage of your fasting timeline, that is when the cells are regenerating. So essentially you're activating the fountain of youth within you. Now, this is very aligned with what I was feeling because I've been talking to Anna, grandmother of Jesus, about this. For she regenerated herself because she lived for 500 years. So she just used to get younger and younger. Now, I've been doing a lot of yin yoga as well and breath work. And I was like, you know what? I think I could actually possibly do this. So I've started to look at all the things that do put strain on the body. I've been sitting in stillness ever such a lot. If we have less thought, no thought at certain times in our day, then the body can't be strained and stressed by negative thought patterns and it won't age. If we have breath work, we over-oxygenate the body, the cells. The body starts to really benefit from this influx of oxygen and starts to regenerate itself. If we don't eat as much and we allow that hunger pain, let's eat. If we reprogram that feeling and go, that's when the body's actually tapping into the cells to regenerate itself, then all of a sudden are you really needing to eat now, or do you want to just eat in a little while? And then your choice of food will be different as well. You're not going to be going and craving sugar. You're not actually going to go and want that big heavy meal. You're going to want something a little bit light, and you're just going to naturally move into that way without trying too hard. And the ultimate thing and the common denominator of all of these things is regeneration of cells. Okay, because we are all dying before we should be dying. We are all struggling to tap into this highest level of consciousness. We are all so confused. Like, what the F, I was going to swear then, what the F are we supposed to put in our mouths? I was an exercise specialist for 19 years. Let me tell you, honey, I've been up and down, inside out, roundabout. I've run my own nutritional agency. I've worked in all of those realms. I did it for 19 years. There ain't nothing I don't know about it and nothing I haven't done. And most of those things is just basically confused. And they only basically last for you for a certain amount of time, but they certainly don't regenerate the cells. Not quite like water fasting or fasting in that way and manner. So we are now looking at our physical bodies instead of going, gotta lose weight, and going into that mentality, especially us women, especially if you're 40. Even that is a fallacy of thinking, I'm over 40 now, I'm going to be getting closer to menopausal, and now I'm going to get fat because I've been told I'm going to get fat. And now I've been told that my belly's going to get really big because I've been told that. And now I need to sign up for all these useless programs, which is draining my US dollars, and I'm going to the gym and just killing myself. That's all bullshit. I mean, I studied in that. I knew it was bullshit from the get-go, and I've actually thought to myself always, it can't be this difficult. So once we take all the white noise off it and we get more in touch with our divine being that's coming online physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we start to actually hear the divine intelligence speak to us of the body. I know what I'm doing here. Just get out my way so I can get the job done. Thanks very much. And let me tell you, I have to say, I feel so grounded and more at peace with my body than I've ever felt from doing intermittent fasting. And I would love to see what I'm going to look like in the next 12 months down the line. Do you know what I mean? So this is, and this is what the beings were talking about. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, was talking about regenerating her cells. This is how it's done. And we need to take a different stance, a different approach, because we need to change our belief systems from what is basically force-fed to us out there and also being told by our mothers, forefathers, whatever. And we need to come into trust that our body knows exactly what's going on. Let the mind take a back seat and let the heart and the consciousness of the body lead. So when I was having this conversation with these beings, they confirmed everything I said. They said there's a good reason why you're going into intermittent fasting now, because it's reprogramming your whole being, and you're stepping out the way and you're letting the intelligence do the work, and you're letting your higher self do the work. We are stepping out the way. So this is another example of what it looks like when you let your higher self lead. And I've done a video on that. So stepping back and letting in, and then not having to overthink anything. So I just want to put that and present that to you, that the intermittent fasting isn't just a thing that is basically everybody's making a fad or whatever. That came through very, very high consciousness in a channel that they were confirming that this is actually being brought forward to all of us if it's on your radar for good reason, because at the end of the day, we never used to eat food anyway. You know what I mean? Long live feeding through the prawn tube. You know what I mean? Hell of a lot cheaper. And you know what? On top of that, I'm a really shit cook. So that's light feeding. It's way better. So if you ever come to my house, I'll invite you to light feeding for a dinner. Brilliant. So as always, do my little shares at the end. Tablets of Light Tour, 9th to the 19th of May. Really looking forward to that. And watch out for some videos, because I'm going to be sharing on what the actual mission is this year. Each year when we go to the Tablets of Light Tour, or go to Egypt with the Tablets of Light, the mission changes. The Starseed group that comes together changes, and it's different this year, and it's all to do with the pyramid power, the pyramid codes. A lot of us got those blueprints within us, and that is what's being called in now. So I'm going to speak a lot more about that. So the Tablets of Light Tour, May the 9th, and and that is it, and that is all, but I'll keep you posted. Thank you for watching.